Hello my friends and welcome to the channel. This isn't the video I planned to make today, but I'm making it because I'm angry. I'm angry because yesterday once again I lost someone I know who was a lovely person due to alcohol misuse. And I can make as many videos on here, and I have in the past, about how to stop drinking alcohol and going through withdrawal and the reasons we drink or use drugs or whatever it is. But I think it needs to be rammed home just what poison alcohol is and what damage it can actually do to every part of your body and mind. So I'm going to share with you in this video 7 of the main ways that alcohol will come for you and will probably, if you carry on, kill you. And there's no sugarcoating that, because it is a fact. And it may not happen overnight, and it may take years, but it will come for you in the end if you don't stop or wake up to what you're doing. Just before I do that, please, if you can, help the channel in 2 ways. 75% of you watch these don't subscribe. Please subscribe. It will just mean that maybe 1 or 2 of these videos will reach a few more people and help them. And please, if you want this channel to continue and it's helped you or someone you love over the last 6 years, I really, really do need your help. And to do that, if you click the link in the description, and please just have a read, see how you can help and support the channel. I'd be truly grateful, and thank you to all those who've done that already. It means so much to me. So let's just talk some reality, because these 7 ways that alcohol will come for your health and your sanity may not be familiar. 1 or 2, of course, will be familiar too, because we all know about them, but some of the others might perhaps not be as familiar to you. Let's talk about number 1 first of all. Wernick Corsov syndrome. You might not know what the hell that is, but it's just another name for something called wet brain. It's a colloquial name, wet brain. The alcohol will come for the brain in lots of different ways. If you have 2 drinks a day, for example, this is science, 2 drinks a day will shrink your brain to the equivalent of 2 years aging. That's 2 drinks a day regularly. That's what it'll do to your brain cells. It'll shrink it. But wet brain is a different thing altogether. This syndrome is caused, the more alcohol we drink, if we're drinking it regularly, the more malnourished we get. And one of the things that is affected more than anything else when we're malnourished is our B1 thiamine absorption. We just don't get enough. And this causes, or is a main cause of, this wet brain syndrome. A wet brain, it's a bit like dementia. It'll mean that you'll lose cognitive thought. You'll deteriorate to such a way that you won't know what the hell's going on. It's almost like being punch drunk. It will destroy your brain. Just look up wet brain syndrome if you want to read more about it. But it's caused by this regular drinking and this malabsorption and thiamine and B1. That's why when you go in a detox, normally they'll hook you up to a B vitamin drip. As well as, you'll be severely dehydrated, but they might put a drip to rehydrate you, but they'll also give you like a yellow fluid, which will contain strong B vitamins. Thiamine you're really short of. Number 2. Cancers. Cancers of every sort are caused by alcohol. I mean, the main ones you know about, because alcohol is a grade 1 carcinogen. Simple as that. As bad as nicotine. This is causes, and people don't realise this. And if you smoke and drink, of course, that makes things doubly worse. But the main cancers that come from alcohol misuse are mouth cancers, throat cancers, the esophagus in particular, stomach cancers for obvious reasons, that's where it ends up, pancreas, liver cancer. All of these things are the main ones. that you'll get from drinking alcohol regularly. It's a grade 1 carcinogen. Every mouthful you take is poison. So you need to wake up to that. You know, and I'm no, I mean, I've had years of probably knowing all this knowledge, you know, in the back of my head and knowing the dangers and not waking up to them. You know, looking for an excuse to carry on drinking, you know, poor me all the time. And, you know, you really need to wake up, because when someone you love or someone you care for dies, you know, because of alcohol misuse, it suddenly wakes it up, because this person I talked about at the beginning of the video was only the same age as me. And that really gives you a wake-up call, you know, and there are many younger than that who go from it through to car accidents and drunken violent fights and all of these sort of things that aren't taken into consideration. Liver is the next one. There's a very detailed video on this channel about the liver and what to look out for with alcohol misuse and liver disease, fatty liver, cirrhosis of the liver, the signs, the symptoms. Just watch that video rather than me go into all that. But the liver's a massive one. So if you start getting swelling, particularly in your ankles, regular nausea, vomiting, yellow tinge in the eyes, yellow tinge in the skin, dark urine, dark stools, all of this sort of thing, you need to go and get a liver function test and check what your levels are, particularly of albumin and things like that, proteins and stuff in your liver, and how your liver's functioning. Because if you can stop it, the liver will regenerate. You know, if you can get in there quickly enough. Once it reaches a certain point, you've had it. So don't let that happen, because cirrhosis, once the cirrhosis is there and it's bad enough, then it's a liver transplant or you're dead. Simple as that. Number 4, the heart. Those of you who drink regularly will know that that you'll get a fast and irregular heartbeat when you drink occasionally, particularly if you're a heavy drinker. I mean, I know coming out of withdrawals, it was frightening. My heart used to race 110, 120 beats a minute, you know, feel as though it was missing beats, and it's very, very scary and frightening. But there is a reason for that. Alcohol causes cardiomyopathy. And cardiomyopathy is the weakening of the heart muscle. Every drink you take will weaken your heart muscle until it reaches a point where it doesn't function properly and you'll get an irregular heartbeat. And then that will lead on, if you carry on drinking, and this gets most people, and this is what got this person, is heart failure. The heart will just fail. The muscle is useless. And that's what drinking does to it. Kidney degeneration, another one that's perhaps overlooked a bit because of the intense dehydration that drinking alcohol causes. The kidneys become overworked. They're constantly working hard to function, and because they're dehydrated, kidney stones will form. And kidney stones is one of the most painful conditions that there is. They reckon it's more painful than childbirth. I mean, I've never had one, but you know, I've spoken to people that have, and it's a pain that's indescribable. And then that will, you know, people who drink regularly alcohol have twice the risk of kidney failure happening. Twice the risk. Weigh that one up. And that's just, and binge drinking is even worse. If you drink, you know, if you binge drink, and that would be classed as 4 or 5 drinks rapidly, you know, after one another, then you're at more risk of kidney failure than anybody. Kidneys will fail. And this alcoholic poisoning and kidney failure will get you. And it's the cause of many sudden deaths. You know, it's horrific. Number 6, like stomach irritation. Now, this is a massive one, stomach irritation, because there's so many alcohol drinking regularly, and I know those of you who've done it, you know, who've been through withdrawal, have come through the other end of it, which is, you know, you're warriors, and it's an amazing thing when you get through it. But you will have probably gone through gastritis, and acid rises in your stomach. The stomach lining gets terribly irritated. Acid rises, Causes all sorts of issues in your throat, constant burning when you eat or drink. You're vomiting all the time. You can't keep anything down. It feels like you've got a lump in your throat all the time. It's horrible. And this is because of what the irritation alcohol causes. Obviously, we've talked about cancer, but it causes other sorts of issues like internal bleeding in the stomach. It causes stomach ulcers to form and eventually tumours in the stomach. I mean, gastritis is a horrible thing, but also another thing that it does in the stomach, alcohol, it causes the destruction. We'll talk about the next one in a minute. It's more linked to that, but it causes the malabsorption of nutrition. So it stops you absorbing the proper nutrition from any of the food that you eat. Your digestive enzymes won't be produced properly, or enough of them won't be produced, and you won't be getting. And that's why most people who go in with chronic alcohol conditions and regular drinkers are actually have a sort of malnutrition. They're very malnourished when they go in for treatment, because they've just not been getting any of the vitamins and minerals that the body needs. They can't absorb them from food. So weigh that one up. And number 7, pancreatitis. The cells of the pancreas, right? It harms them. It harms the cells of the pancreas, the alcohol, any amounts of alcohol. Pancreatitis is a common alcohol-related condition. The problem with it is it affects the enzymes that are released to digest your food. It affects the enzymes that are released to regulate your blood sugar. The pancreatitis stops working properly, and eventually, when you damage it enough, these enzymes will get stuck in the pancreas and start to digest the pancreas, which is pancreatitis. It's an horrific condition, which my father-in-law suffered from, actually, who was a very heavy drinker. He's dead now, God rest his soul. But he suffered from this, and what happens is, it can't be reversed once it reaches that stage. You have to manage it with an absolute cocktail of drugs, because you can't get any goodness from food. Your blood sugar's all over the place, all sorts of issues. The pain is intense in the front and the back of your body. On the left side normally, so under your ribs on the left side at the front, going right through to the back. Very severe pain. And that's something that is a permanent condition and can't be reversed. There are those 7 things there that I've just talked about, which should be enough to frighten anybody. I mean, of course, you'll know how difficult it is to stop once you start in any addiction. I know that more than anybody. I've stopped and started all my life. The thing is, once you start to weigh up all of that, and then you add on all the other things like the unhealthiness, the obesity, the diabetes, the carnage that is caused around you by consuming too much alcohol, then you have to ask yourself the question, what the hell am I doing here? And it's another motivation, and obviously you still have to deal with all the issues to stop drinking and stop taking drugs. You have to deal with what's causing you to do it in the first place. And I'll be making a video on that hole in the soul that we all talk about, that I talk about, filling the void, if you like. In a day or so. It was what was planned for today, but because of what happened, I wanted to make this one. And I'm not deliberately setting out to frighten anybody in these videos. I'm just speaking scientific truth here. The thing is, we've been whitewashed for a long time now by very clever people in the alcohol advertising and promotion industry, backed by government channels and all the rest of it, because it's a massive tax. It's sexy to drink alcohol. It'll solve all your problems. You'll be able to celebrate and do all of these wonderful things that'll happen in your life with alcohol. But in fact, it's an absolute lie. Because if you're stuck in alcohol, and I'm not knocking anybody that can just have one drink. Good luck. That's a marvellous thing if you can do that. But if you're an addict like me, then you can't just have one drink. It sparks off a reaction in your body, which is unexplainable, linked to a part of your brain, lack of dopamine production, the scientists say, that keeps you drinking. So if you're like me, then you need to weigh up what the pros and cons are of drinking, and there aren't any pros at all if you're in this condition. Trust me, only cons. When it comes for everything in your life, it'll come back for you. And that's an absolute truth. Carpe diem, my friends. Please subscribe. Please click the link in the description. Help out the channel if you can. Much love to you all. See you next time. Bye-bye.